pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to call this meeting of the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board semi-monthly meeting for January 18, 2011 to order with a roll call, please.
Bernie Bassett.
Here.
Thomas Wood.
Here.
Gerard Renada.
Here.
Martin Mannix. Here. Paul Lemoyne.
Here.
James Coffey.
Here.
Rick Collins.
Present. Resolution 33, the approval of the minutes of the previous meetings.
Resolved that the minutes of January 3rd and January 10th, 2011 be approved and the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
A motion.
So moved.
Mr. Renadek, second.
Second.
Mr. Lemoyne, any discussion? Rick, did you get those?
I didn't go to the office, but I got them.
I can't vote now.
You want to amend to...
They should have been in the packet from Monday night's meeting, last Monday. They were in there because Meg did that.
Yes, January 3rd were, but we acted on 4 resolutions for the 10th. And I think that's the ones
there were no minutes
that Mr. Wood's concerned about.
Okay.
That's happened a couple times. I think what's happening is we don't run an audio tape at those, so she's not able to do those. It's probably something you're going to either have to do or convey to her when we take action at a work session.
Why don't we just strike January 10th from the
We'll just amend it.
and approve the 3rd.
Okay.
And approve the 3rd.
Okay. I have no problem with that.
Okay, Paul?
Yep.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Gerard Renada.
Yes.
Martin Mannix.
Yes.
Paul Lemoyne.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. This portion of the meeting, we ask if anyone present would like to address the board. We welcome and encourage them to do so. And if not, we move right along, especially on stormy nights. Resolution 34, abstract 12D through 10, and abstract, 12D 2010, and abstract 1A 2011.
Resolved that the abstract of audited claims number 12D-2010, 553 to 559, in the amount of $564,139.57, and be received and reviewed by the audit committee, and it is further resolved that the abstract of audit claims 1A-2011, 3087 to 3184, in the amount of $124,539.54, and abstract 011A 560 to 566 prepays in the amount of $7,203.32 be received and reviewed by the audit committee, and the supervisors hereby authorized to pay said abstract.
A motion.
So moved.
Mr. Lemoyne, second.
Second.
Mr. Rennerday. Any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Gerard Renada.
Yes.
Martin Mannix.
Yes.
Paul Lemoyne.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, resolution 35, building maintenance and safety monthly report.
Resolved to receive and place on file a report from Art Grove Building and Maintenance Supervisor from the month of December 2010.
A motion.
So moved.
Mr. Wood, second.
Second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion?
Just, Art took me downstairs today to show me the work that's being done downstairs. It's progressing nicely. I guess if you're not really in the construction field, you go down there and take a look at it, you say, my God, we haven't got much done, but anybody who's relatively familiar with construction can tell that a lot has gotten done, and he says they're going to be starting the wiring very, very shortly. So it's going to be a nice change down there, giving our court judges and the court clerks plenty of room. They're going to have their own vault. It's really shaping up nicely, so just wanted to give them a plug.
Good. And number 13 on his report, I guess just for the record, I don't know if you want to make any comment at all, Paul, but he noted that he was working on streetlight consolidation.
Yeah, he's actually taking a map and putting together which roads have town-owned streetlights and which roads have nice home streetlights, and
Once
it's
we
pretty
have
extensive
a
map.
meeting on Monday night.
He's the guy that knows, so
Include that
he's
in your
working on
packet.
it.
Great. It's good, good project. We want to make sure everybody's got some preliminary heads up. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
George Renadette?
Yes.
Martin Manick?
Yes.
Paul Lemoyne?
Yes.
Bernie Bassett?
Yes, Resolution 36, Codes and Zoning Department Monthly Report.
Resolved to receive and place on file a report from Stephen Imhoff, Code Enforcement Officer, for the month of December 2010.
A motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Manick, second.
Second.
Mr. Wood, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
George Renadette?
Yes.
Martin Manick?
Yes.
Paul Lemoyne?
Yes.
Bernie Bassett?
Yes, Resolution 37, Codes and Zoning Department End of the Year Report for 2010.
Resolved to receive and place on file a report from Stephen Imhoff, Code Enforcement Officer, for the end of the year of 2010.
Motion.
So moved.
Mr. Lemoy, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette, any discussion?
Yeah, is this the one that has been fixed? This was the one that was monthly and yearly, at least that was what I was told, and he said it was going to be revised, he was going to redo it.
In his report, you just had a monthly for the month of December?
No, let me just show it to you.
Oh, in the,
Right, in
Yes,
here, the word monthly.
in the
is there.
report.
We can change it to annual, but I was under the impression that.
one I got was changed. I think I passed those out at the work session.
And I think through the report, it says like building permits were requested this month. That's obviously an annual number, 436 building permits for the year. So,
Yeah.
although it may look a little confusing, I don't think we've ever had a month with 436 requests.
Yeah. I don't, maybe you didn't get, as I said, I thought I passed one out at work session. My report from Mr. Imhoff does have all those changed to
Annual.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
I think it's
Okay, because the
very,
figures didn't match on mine.
I think it's very important to note that even in what would be called a slow economic year, looking at his annual report, we had 14 single-family residences that were raised at a price of $2,533,000 alone. That's a substantial amount of investment in this town for what, again, would be considered a slow economic year.
Yeah, I felt the same, having that number of building permits in general is significant in what truly was a slow year, so everyone stayed busy, and one of the goals, I think I repeated many times, that position I took anyway, and I think our town took, is that during the storm, we weren't going to go in a corner and wait for it to end. We were going to continue to do business as usual and work and strive to build our base and create jobs, and I think everyone's to be commended for that. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
George Renadette?
Yes.
Martin Manick?
yes.
Paul Lemoyne?
Yes.
Bernie Bassett?
Yes, Resolution 38 is the Highway Superintendent's monthly report. I'll just make note 39 will be an annual.
Resolved to receive and place on file a report from Fred Levine, Superintendent of Highways, for the month of December 2010.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second.
Second.
Mr. Lemoy, any discussion? One thing I picked up on his monthly was that there was a slight difference between this year's number of loads of sand used over last year's same period. But if my memory serves me right, last year was very similar to this year in that we had very little winter weather. In fact, I recall as we were coming out of it, wondering if we were going to have a dry spring and, have water level issues. So it's interesting. This is another one of those where there's great value in having more than a year or two to look at to really, call it a trend or even make it meaningful. It's hard to do.
Bernie, just one thing that I talked to Fred last week, the department purchased a van, I believe,
Ambulance?
An ambulance, and they're putting that in service. They paid $200 for the ambulance, and they're outfitting it as a service truck for those guys. So it's they're going to replace an older truck and put that out to bid, and certainly recoup the $200 they spent, and probably quite a bit more. And and have a much more user-friendly truck for all their tools and stuff to take out on their own, so. Good job from them.
Yeah, it
They're
is.
actually updating it now to meet their needs, so.
Having mechanics on board continues to be an asset to us. The number of tasks they've taken over, board's decisions to purchase equipment for them, such as the lift and the tire changer and so on, we're just keeping it home instead of, spending twice as much doing outsourcing the work, if you will. So,
And that rig they,
it's impressive.
That rig they bought for cleaning the yards, that's really working.
I never think of what that,
Scoop dog.
scoop dog, there you go.
Scoop dog, I never
Scoop
remember
dog.
that
I never
either.
think of that, simple enough.
Yeah.
I forgot, maybe you remember, Marty, but Fred said time-wise that they saved, it was a measurable number.
Yeah, I mean,
Measure.
before, he said they're saving almost 5 hours in time in just doing the yards around the building.
That's one of the things, and, I think we've created a number of did a number of policy changes that helped us get through the economic storm, but there are things that will continue to help us year after year after year. We've talked many times about the variable speed pumps that, kept our electricity costs down. We just got really efficient. It's the kind of stuff we didn't get a lot of press on. And I know Mr. Coffey has said many times in a work session, reminded us that, there's really a need to try and keep the public informed. It may look like we didn't do anything or have any problems. We had problems, and we did a lot of things, but we did the job versus, worry about lamenting over our shortfalls. And departments were just fantastic in trying to tighten their belts, positions that weren't filled. This evening, we're going to talk about a director for our water department. I mean, that's a very key post. And Paul, Marcia, the department, the supervisors, the girls and officers took on some more responsibilities and kept things going. So I'm very pleased with that. And hopefully the economic picture will be better as well, are anticipating for 11. But we did do a lot of things like those that have been very valuable and truly have enabled us to do more with less. I don't know if we could do that another year. I think this budget, we cut that baby. Yeah, we went to the bone on that one. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Gerard Benedict?
Yes.
Mark Manick?
Yes.
Paul Moyne?
Yes.
Bernie Bassett?
Yes. Resolution 39, the historian and deputy historian's annual report.
Resolved to receive and place on file a historian's monthly report.
Change that to annual, please.
Annual report for the month of January 2011.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Wood, second.
Second.
Mr. Lemoyne. Any discussion?
I'd like to point out that our historian's been very active this year, and they set goals, and reorganize the files and existing resources, and become acquainted with many relationships of neighboring community historians and organizations, and working on a mission and vision statement with goals and objectives. I think they've really done all those things. I know that it really helped to have Jerry Bates have Bill Glidden come on board, and the two of them working together. But they certainly have worked to promote our historical areas in the town, and they've been able to have floats in parades. They've participated with other organizations in Museum Day and helped out. They've worked with Battle of Plattsburgh. They worked with the other historians. They worked to participate in Lakes to Locks Passage. And they've been involved in Pike's Cantonment and Halsey's Corners. And I did want to point out that Halsey's Corners is in the town of Plattsburgh. It has been erroneously put in the paper and on the news that it was in Beatontown, but it is in the town of Plattsburgh. And we did hold a commemoration there this year that our historian put on, and they also negotiated with the nearby landowners to be able to use the area and use a little bit more area to have this commemoration. So I'm really pleased with what's happened with our historian's office this year, and I commend them for what they've done.
They have done a great job. Very, very, very active. Pretty good for a part-time position and a volunteer.
Right.
Labor of love. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Woods.
Yes.
Gerard Renadette.
Yes.
Mark Manick. Yes. Paul Lemoyne.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 40, Parks and Recreation Department monthly report.
Resolved to receive and place on file a report from Melanie Defiant, Recreation and Youth Director for the month of December 2010.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Woods, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette. Any discussion? One thing I found interesting in the report, probably worth noting, is more disc golf equipment has been ordered for the middle and high schools at Saranac, Peru, and Beekmantown, the 3 school districts in the town. And the schools, the PE directors have begun to work the program into their curriculum. So I think that's a very good thing.
The other thing I noticed, swimming is more than doubled from 2008 to 2010, which is great.
Very good.
For safety and a lot of other reasons.
Insurance premiums will go down.
Yeah, yeah.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Woods.
Yes.
Gerard Renadette.
Yes.
Mark Manick.
Yes.
Paul Lemoyne.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 41, Town Clerk's monthly report.
Resolved to receive and place on file a report from Rick Collins, Town Clerk, for the month of December 2010.
A motion.
So moved.
Mr. Woods, second.
Second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion? If, they look pretty, if not, we will have a roll call.
Thomas Woods.
Yes.
Gerard Renadette.
Yes.
Mark Manick.
Yes.
Paul Lemoyne.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes, Resolution 42, Town Clerk's year-end report for 2010.
Resolved to receive and place on file a report from Rick Collins, Town Clerk, for the end of the year 2010.
Motion,
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second.
Second.
Mr. Lemoyne. Any discussion? Again, it's a little tough, I think, to draw any significant analogies because the previous year wasn't a lot to write home about, but certainly your end of the year 2010, I would say, reflects somewhat less activity.
The biggest change in the whole picture, if you look on the first or second page to the third page, was a drop in license fees from environmental conservation. That was due to the pre-sale that they had where all the hunters could buy a lifetime license. And if you look, we sold over almost $26,000 worth of licenses compared to $12,000 this year. So that was the biggest drop in everything that we had. Most of everything else remained just pretty well even from year to year to general businesses. But the biggest drop was over the hunting licenses.
Okay. Any other discussion, questions for Ricky? In that case, we'll have a roll call.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Gerard Renadette.
Yes.
Mark Manick.
Yes.
Paul Lemoyne.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. Resolution 43, Water Department's monthly report.
Resolved to receive and place on file a report from Paul Wright, Assistant Water and Wastewater Superintendent for the month of December 2010.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second. Mr. Mannix. Any discussion?
I just want to make comment, in particular for Marcia and the ladies in the department. We had a balanced situation on our financial reports this year. And we were somewhat criticized by the controller in their report, and not that anybody was doing anything wrong, but it was that there was not a consistent balancing of the reports. Consequently, it was costing us money when it came time for an audit and whatever. That has been completely changed. We finished 2010, and by Thursday afternoon of the first week of January, we had balanced accounts.
To everyone's pleasure.
Absolutely.
Everyone's.
Really.
Well, we begin 2011 for the first time since, and I asked Marcia, she couldn't really give me an answer when the last time was. We started a calendar year and actually were caught up with our audits.
Yeah.
And again, that will, we expect, help to reduce the cost of an audit, which this past year was $44,000. It was huge, with an extra 20 because of, entries that hadn't been made and confusion with balancing. And, Marty put his teeth into that one, and he didn't let go until we got where we needed to be, and we did. And again, it's a good thing. We work to control the things we can and, tolerate the rest, I guess.
I think where we will really see the benefit of that will be when the accounts come in to do the audit for 2010. And I believe, based on conversations that we had with them, that we will see them here in the month of May, and that they anticipate they may be done by the end of the month of May, which is unheard of. And the faster they can do that audit, the less billable hours that we're dealing with.
You have a $44,000 bill, taking a few hours off it is not a bad thing.
It has been an effort over a number of years, though, to bring us to this point, and Marty certainly put the teeth in it to finish it up. But it has been something that we've been working on quite a long time.
We've been the last 2 or 3 years trying to catch up, but it's been extremely difficult. I think we gained days instead of, the 2 years, but it's come together, and a lot of that was bringing the people together as well. I'll share at some point in the future, been having some discussions in how we're going to begin to pull some of this data together in useful ways and creating some spreadsheets and things. So some conversations I had last week that at the right time I'll bring you up to speed. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Guy Renadette?
Yes.
Mark Mannix?
Yes.
Paul Moyne?
Yes.
Ernie Bass?
Yes, resolution 44, the appointment of Jacqueline Ranson as typist.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh Town Court justices have made requests for additional help to manage town court clerical needs. And whereas the town budget for 2011 has included funds for the purpose of creating this new position. And whereas the Clinton County Department of Personnel has reviewed the town's request and has approved the position for a full-time typist. And whereas Personnel Committee and members of the court had canvassed qualified individuals from the civil service list and have made a recommendation as to their selection for the aforementioned position. Therefore, it be resolved that Jacqueline Ransom be hired to fill the position of typist at the hourly rate of $13 an hour for a 40-hour work week effective immediately, following the final civil service approval with a probationary period of 26 weeks from the appointment date. And it be further resolved that the supervisor sign all necessary documents and that a certified copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Clinton County Department of Personnel for civil service final approval and filing. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be placed in Ms. Ransom's file and a copy be given to the budget officer.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Wood, a second.
Second.
Mr. Lemoy, any discussion?
That's, I think pretty much everybody in the committee was pretty impressed. Quite anxious to have her aboard.
Thank you.
And obviously, we're hoping that we live up to that, but certainly it looks like it.
Yeah,
And,
so far,
to
so
have
good.
that diverse group all agree was pretty good.
I just need to add that, not only did Ms. Ransom interview very, very well, she came to us with a set of skills, job skills that I think are going to serve her very, very well downstairs. We need the kind of person I think you are to establish yourself downstairs, and I'm very, very optimistic that we're going to have you here for a long, enjoyable career.
Thank you, I intend to be.
All right. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Guy Renadette?
Yes.
Mark Mannix?
Yes.
Paul Moyne?
Yes.
Ernie Bass?
Yes. Congratulations, Jackie.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much. Is it okay if I go ahead and give my notice to my other job now?
You're in now.
I can do that.
You're taking the oath
Thank
of
you.
office shortly, right?
If you don't say anything and anybody watches, they'll know about a week from now.
Tom, I don't know if that position requires one.
Okay. I figured the judges would want that. No, I'm just kidding.
Congratulations.
Thank you very
Look forward to
much.
it. We'll see you soon, I'm sure.
Okay.
All right. Resolution 45, the appointment of Scott Stoddard as Director of Water Wastewater Utilities.
Whereas there is a vacancy in the position of Director of Water and Wastewater Utilities that was duly posted and advertised. And whereas interviews for the aforementioned position were held by the supervisor and members of the town board and water and sewer committee. And whereas upon completion of the interviews, the committee has made recommendation as to the selection of appointed to said position. Now therefore be resolved that the town board does hereby appoint Scott M. Stoddard as Director of the Water and Wastewater Utilities to commence on February 14, 2011, with an annual salary of $85,000 and 5 days paid vacation, with an additional 5 days paid vacation credited on August 1st, 2011, with time in excess of 10 days credited as per administrative agreement. And it is further resolved that this appointment become effective following civil service approval, and the supervisor is hereby authorized to sign all necessary documents for provisional appointment of Scott M. Stoddard to the position of Director of Water and Wastewater Utilities with a probationary period not to exceed 6 months, pending a successful completion of the appropriate civil service exam as required for permanent appointment. And it is further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the budget officer and a copy forward to Clinton County Department of Personnel.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Woods, second.
Second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion?
I'd like to have us amend it slightly, that we also have a copy placed in his personnel file.
Tom, okay with that?
Yes. Good idea.
So amended. Any other discussion?
Again, this is a very impressive individual. Interviewed very well. He has an immense set of job skills that we're very fortunate to be able to get. And I know when people hear salary in that area, they think, oh my God, but we're fortunate to get him for that price, because again, with what he's learned, what he's able to do, he could go for higher. So we're very lucky. We're lucky that he liked what he saw in the town of Plattsburgh, that we are able to offer somebody like him an opportunity to come work for us. And again, I hope he's with us for a long time, because this is he'll be the third director that I've seen in the time that I've been on the board. Actually, the fourth, excuse me. We're ready to settle down and keep somebody for a length of time.
There we are. It is a multi-million-dollar complex budget with a good-sized staff, the responsibility to provide safe drinking water to, over 10,000 customers, not to mention all the people that, who aren't customers, et cetera, et cetera. Working with regulatory agencies, other engineers, he is an engineer. And so I encapsulate that well. It is a significant position in the town, and I think other municipalities of our size with a department of that size would be more than comparable in the position. So, yeah, very pleased. And, and that's another one to note. We didn't really, I don't think, formally drag our feet. We didn't race. And it was very important to find, as you said, Gerard, someone who's going to be with us, we hope, for a while. And I feel Scott fulfills that as well. He's committed to the community, loves the Adirondacks. I look forward to people having a chance to work with him and giving him a stack that's been growing on my desk. God bless him.
There's some stuff about him coming in prior to the state.
We've left the door open for some transition, but because he is still employed, he has a trait that I admire. He has a lot of loyalty to his current employer. He needs time to clarify some things. So we agreed that he would officially start on the 14th, so it was clean, And as he has time, he will be coming in and transitioning. Once we complete all, the necessary, the background check and everything.
It's my understanding that Tom and I will be meeting as part of the Water and Sewer Committee tomorrow, and he's expressing interest in attending that meeting. So,
Great.
again, he's to be commended that even though he's holding down another job and he's not slated to start until the middle of next month, he's prepared to come in and put his thumb on the pulse of what's going on. So, again, I welcome him and I thank him for that dedication.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Gerard Benedette?
Yes.
Mark Manick?
Yes.
Paul Moy?
Yes.
Bernie Bassett?
Yes, resolution 46, a request to attend the annual code enforcement educational conference.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh code enforcement officials are required to maintain their licenses. And whereas it is in the best interest of the town to remain current and informed concerning changes in regulations. Therefore, it is resolved that Stephen Imhoff and Alan Reese, code enforcement officers, be allowed to attend the Northern Adirondack Code Enforcement Officials Association 12th Annual Educational Conference held from March 7th to March 10th in Lake Placid, New York, at the Crown Plaza Resort and Golf Club. It is further resolved that $480 for the conference and $479.98 for lodging and meals be charged to the Codes and Zoning budget. It is further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the budget office.
Have a motion? Mr. Wood, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette, any discussion?
Yes. I'm probably gonna shock you here because I actually figured this out. These guys are staying 3 nights. I did the math, it's $66 a night per person in Lake Placid. It's probably unheard of. I'm not sure that,
They're actually going to stay one night, I think.
They're staying
They
one
have
night?
They have 2 nights. They have a codes meeting here one day in that sequence, so they're going to have to come down and go back the next morning.
okay.
That's the plan.
The only problem I have with this is, in the request, it looks to me like they're taking 2 town vehicles to Lake Placid, because it says each number of persons traveling together are 1, and they're taking a town vehicle. I'm hoping we're not sending 2 town vehicles to Lake Placid for 4 days. Well, that's what this says.
I understand what you're saying.
And I would make sure that you encourage them that they're taking 1 town vehicle to Lake Placid.
I don't know the story on that. We'll find out.
Well, if we're taking 1 town vehicle to Lake Placid and spending 2 nights, I'm in support of this resolution for that, but I'm not in favor of it if they're taking 2 vehicles up there for 4 days. That's,
I don't think any of us would be in favor of that. You bring up a very good point.
Where do you see that?
Each application.
Second one on the
Oh,
top.
each has-
1 traveling town vehicle.
Yeah. That's different. Okay, got it. Any other discussion?
Yes, is this the 16th or the 12th annual?
I don't know.
I take care of it.
One of them.
Maybe we could just put annual education conference.
16.
Since we're really not sure how many there have been.
I have a greater concern than I think any of you have raised as I'm looking at this, and I looked at this earlier and it didn't appear to me to be what I am now concerned that it could be. I'm looking at 2 separate authorizations to travel forms, each one of which is asking for $479.98. The forms in no way seem to include each other. There's a form for each one, and Paul, it's your
Yeah.
comment that kind of,
Well, no, Marty, on the front though, the registration is $480, so they took the $240 from each registration and combined that, and then they combined the $199.98 and the $40 and add those together, and that's where they come up with the $479.98, because I did look at that.
you did look at.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
total package is $850-something,
Okay. All right.
$59.
Then
I
I
thought it was
no more relief.
959.
Huh?
I thought it was 959.96.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
So you're gonna check on the cars?
Yes.
And encourage them to move this to Plattsburgh when Mr. Imhoff becomes the chair.
You know, it's the wrong time to really go into that, but we did discuss that, and as I heard the explanation, I understood it. One of the things that happens in Placid, they get a significant turnout from across the state because they're going to Placid, because there will be a different venue, there will be skiing for those that ski, there will be, you know, the quality of life and culture that is in Lake Placid. And there's a facility for a large group like that to stay and have a conference, which is highly desirable. When you're organizing something of that magnitude, and it's a statewide conference, those are important factors. If they moved it around to Plattsburgh and to other convenient locations, if those who want to come find that not quite as desirable, they won't go. If they don't go, it isn't worth us going, because you miss all that human contact. It really surfaces, as I said, isn't the time just to see when we want to function at that level, because you're right. Every hotel, every restaurant, every venue, every theater benefits when you bring a conference in that may have 500 people. We could maybe house them. We may not be able to have a conference in the same facility. Then what are those 500 going to do at night? Take turns going to a different movie? I mean, it just doesn't attract a conference of that nature. And, you know, what I think it underscores, and we've talked many times about having a cultural arts corridor. I think we all probably remember when Plattsburgh State used to have plays at Hartman Theater, and they were packed. And nobody's any more proud than I am of our community, but we are lacking in those categories. The largest banquet facilities are in Altona, New York. And Peck Sample does a great job, but we don't have that here, and you're not going to stay in Plattsburgh and travel up there for your conference. So, yeah, it really doesn't work, and I was kind of glad to hear Steve also reiterated a big part of the going and being there and staying there is he's going to be able to meet with the people that he deals with as far as regulation, state agencies. You want to get them there, and yeah, they don't come otherwise. So it's an interesting reminder, and I guess we're upgrading, but it underscores the value of the answer to the question, okay, what do I do when I get there? And another time, another setting, there's some other comments with that of other places that have wanted to have hotel and conference centers, but you got to think outside of those walls to bring that many people in to spend that kind of money. Which is why oftentimes, and I'm sure you've all heard from Las Vegas and other such venues where the corporate world got spanked pretty bad in the bad economy, the money they were spending to send their top people to these very elaborate, fun-filled conferences, those venues are hurting. The chambermaids were laid off, and the cooks were laid off. I mean, they didn't have the people that came in and dumped enormous amounts of money into the community. So anyway, those are things we continue to work on with our Strategic Tourism Planning Committee as well, and maybe we'll sit here someday, but we aren't playing at that level yet. Any other discussion? We didn't ask for that.
I withdraw the question.
I just want to make sure that we're basically going to amend the request that two people are going to travel together in one town vehicle, and make that clear to them that this authorization is not to take.
I can't think of any reason why two vehicles are going. I can't think of anything that would support it. If only one of them is coming back for the meeting and going back, the other waits, he doesn't need a car seat in the parking lot. I mean, I guess what I'm not saying, Paul, is I can't even make up an extenuating circumstance why that would be the case. So my assumption is no. You've got one vehicle going. Maybe there's something I don't know about that's valid. So I haven't amended it. It's just a matter of, they each billed as if they were an independent splitting cost, but there's one vehicle going up. I don't know why it'd be otherwise. If someone is, well, I don't want to comment. So, yeah, my notes say one vehicle's going. Yep. right? Any other discussion?
They, they were gonna fill the form out and say half a vehicle was covered. So.
Yeah,
Well, you don't have to be able to do it.
I just
Which one
can't,
each get?
But it's a good question to ask.
yeah. God forbid two did go and we didn't ask, that'd be
That would
a
be.
little bit confusing.
You're right.
So anyway, I'll deal with that tomorrow. Not a problem. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
George Benedek?
Yes.
Mark Manick?
Yes.
Paul LeBoy?
Yes.
Bernie Bassett?
Yes, Resolution 47, Municipal Property and Liability Insurance Renewal.
Whereas it is necessary for the town of Plattsburgh to provide risk management services and municipal property and liability insurance. Therefore be resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized to renew its agreement with the Cool Insuring Agency Incorporated, principally located in P.O. Box 2153, Glens Falls, New York, 12801, to provide risk management services and as the insurance broker for the town to provide municipal insurance coverage. And it be further resolved that after careful review of the town's need and market options, as recommended in the letter dated January 18, 2011, from Peter R. Prescott, Vice President of the Cool Insurance Agency, to provide property and liability insurance for the period January 20th, 2011 to January 20th, 2012, shall be provided by NYMAR reciprocal for a premium of $119,500. Endorsements as warranted during said period at a rate of approximately 9% lower than the 2010 premium rate, and excluding the 2011 return of the capitalization. Resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the budget officer and to the supervisor be authorized to sign all related documents with NYMAR and Cool Incorporated.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Woods, second, Mr. Lemoy. Any discussion?
Do we have any idea what the capitalization fee will be?
I don't recall last year's, just shooting from the hip, I'd say 10,000. It's a pretty good little chunk of change. And, it's noted in here, we did the calculating this afternoon, that it's about 9% lower than the previous year. There's no insurance on the planet that goes down, and neither with this. What caused the rates to go down are a number of things, and again, in the same vein we talked earlier. One item that is significantly helpful is the way in which our comp is factored in liability. Liability is much heavier when we're paving. Men out in the streets, they got their back to traffic, people are flying by, much more so than when, much more exposure than when our men are in a snow plow. A little higher, they're a little less vulnerable. Mailboxes are the only weak things out there, I guess, right? Peter Prescott has worked to identify things like that, made a change in our policy that gave us a lower premium for 6 months of the year, because 6 months of the year, we're not paving. And there are little nuances like that that we keep looking at, make changes, and they begin to add up to these numbers that saved us, roughly $10,000 in this premium. The safety programs, I met with our claims adjuster last week, and he was asking questions about outstanding issues and so on and so forth. He didn't have anything, and kind of finally stopped and said, you want to talk to me about any other municipalities that have any better liability claims than the town of Plattsburgh? And he kind of got a big grin. He said, I don't think I've got one. And that's a result of our people being very cautious, using safety measures, having training, being very conscientious when they're out there in the field, keeping their cool, supervisors that are on top of things, and as a result, you get lower premiums. You don't get them because the cost of insurance goes down. Again, I'm very pleased with the role that everyone's played in this, and I think we made a heck of a good decision. You don't have to let too many newspapers go by and you'll hear about a municipality that's in trouble with their insurance decisions. You didn't necessarily support the cheapest company in town, but you supported one of the best companies, and I think it's paying dividends right now. So
That-
I'm pleased with this report.
This is the last year we'll get the capitalization.
This is the last year we get the capitalization back.
We do get a check.
Yes, we
possibly
do.
in February or something, returning
Mhm.
money that.
Yep, it's the third one of three. And I've asked for full reports, Marty with his background, as well as being more available here in his role. We'll sit down and we'll go through the full insurance policy, line by line. And as you recall, we did that last year, and there were some things that we dropped, we felt we didn't need. And there were a couple other places we felt there might be a little more exposure, was a couple more dollars, and we spent our money wisely. So we'll do the same, and we'll have copies for every board member, so you have that as well to look over, okay? But it doesn't happen haphazardly, and as I've said before, Peter's got keys to the place. He wanders around, he'll pick up on a lead cord that's, going over a rug instead of under it or something, to simply bring our attention to what could be hazardous and could lead to a claim. And that's how you get there.
And I appreciate your giving us a copy, because it's nothing I like more than reading through the insurance language, figuring out what it is.
And you will. But we'll definitely do that. You'll have that. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Gerard Renadin?
Yes.
Martin Manick? Yes. Paul Moy?
Yes.
Bernie Bassett?
Yes. Resolution 50, 3% site plan return deposit for Verville Enterprises Site Plan 2008 Phase 2.
I'm on
jumped
48.
Right, 48.
I went
You're
through that.
jumping ahead there.
I'm on a roll.
We can do 48
Here.
before, but
Resolution 48, new math. RFP for auditing services for 2011 and 12.
Whereas in accordance with the requirements of the Single Audit Act of 1984 and the Single Audit Act Amendment of 1996, independent audits for the years ending December 31st, 2010, 2011, and 2012 must be performed. Now therefore it is resolved that the town board, town of Plattsburgh, does hereby authorize the supervisor to solicit and receive proposals for independent auditing of the town of Plattsburgh physical records for the year 2010, 2011, and 2012. And it be further resolved that the budget officer receive a copy of this resolution.
Have a motion.
so move.
Mr. Wood, second.
Second.
Mr. Mannix, any discussion? I believe also in the RFP, I put in 2011 as the year to do the courts, the clerk, and the other accounts. I'm sorry, George.
No, I was just gonna ask that because I don't see the courts listed here. I might have missed it. No.
I don't have that copy.
It was in the resolution that we had at the work session, I thought,
Right.
Bernie.
You have the RFP there?
Yes.
I have this here, but it doesn't mention it.
The audit for 2011 must include financial records, town clerk, tax receiver,
Okay,
town justice.
thank you. I did miss it.
Yeah, so town clerk, tax receiver, and two town justices.
Any other discussion?
That's somebody who requests
Roll call.
proposals.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Gerard Renadin?
Yes.
Martin Manick?
Yes.
Paul Moy?
Yes.
Bernie Bassett?
Yes, resolution 49, 3% site plan deposit for Bonabest Site Plan 2008.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh Planning Board has reviewed and approved all requirements for Bonavisi Site Plan 2008. And whereas the Bonavisi Site Plan 2008 has on file with the town of Plattsburgh a 3% deposit for construction of their project in the original amount of $3,524.22 plus accrued interest. And whereas the planning department has coordinated inspection of said project and all requirements have been met and completed. And whereas the Bonavisi Site Plan 2008 has requested that the 3% deposit in the amount of $3,524.22 plus accrued interest to date be returned. Now therefore be resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to release said deposit in the amount of $3,524.22 plus accrued interest to date. It is further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Planning Department Secretary with the return of deposit to Dr. Thierry Bonavisi at 64 Stafford Drive, Plattsburgh, New York, 12901.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Rennerdeck, second.
Second.
Mr. Lemoy, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Gerard Renadette? Mark Manick?
Yes.
Paul Moy?
Yes.
Bernie Bassett?
Yes. Resolution 50, 3% site plan return deposit for Verville Enterprises Site Plan 2008 Phase 2.
Whereas the Town of Plattsburgh Planning Board has reviewed and approved all requirements of Verville Enterprises Site Plan 2008 Phase 2. And whereas the Verville Enterprise Site Plan 2008 Phase 2 has on file with the Town of Plattsburgh a 3% deposit for construction of their project in the original amount of $5,044.20 plus accrued interest. And whereas the Planning Department has coordinated inspections of said project and reports all requirements have been met and completed. And whereas Verville Enterprises Site Plan 2008 Phase 2 has requested that the 3% deposit in the amount of $5,044.20 plus accrued interest to date be returned now. And therefore be resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to release said deposit in the amount of $5,044.20 plus accrued interest to date. It is further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Planning Department Secretary with the return of deposit to Verville Enterprises Site Plan 2008 Phase 2, 27 Fay Lane, Plattsburgh, New York, 12901.
Have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Wood, second.
Second.
Mr. Lemoy, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Gerard Renner?
Yes.
Mark Manick?
Yes.
Paul Moy? Bernie Bassett?
Yes. Yeah, he's done. Resolution 51, lead agent and seeker for 2010 comprehensive land use plan.
Whereas Part 1617 State Environmental Quality Review, Section 8-0113 of the Environmental Conservation Law provides for the review of projects which constitute an action with respect to the effect of such project have on the environment. And whereas a determination of effect of said project or action on the environment is necessary to determine whether a draft environmental impact statement is required. And whereas the effects of said project or action on the environment are to be examined by all involved agencies. And whereas the town board has therefore before it a project known as the Town of Plattsburgh 2010 Comprehensive Use Plan in the Town of Plattsburgh. And whereas said project has determined and is hereby determined to be type 1 action required, the assessment as to the effect upon the environment. And whereas the public hearings were held on September 20th and October 18th, 2010, to hear from individual parties in response to the draft of comprehensive use plan in coordination prior to approval. And whereas the town board did authorize and direct copies of the draft of comprehensive use plan be forwarded and referred to adjacent municipalities, the Clinton County Planning Board, Town of Beekman and Town of Crew, and the Town Zoning Board. And whereas the town board has determined to be the lead agency, and if no objection is made from any of the further involved agencies, the lead agency, in accordance with Part 617 State Environmental Quality Review, or SEQR, for the purpose of assessing the effects of the project on the environment and determining whether said effects is significant to require preparation of the draft of environmental impact statement. Now therefore be resolved that the town board, Town of Plattsburgh, here as follows. 1, the town board, acting as lead agency, has reviewed complete full environmental form parts 1 and 2, a true copy to which is attached here to map, plan, and related materials giving information about the project and its potential effects on said environment, together with all written comments, written evidence, and oral comments provided by involved agency, collectively the environmental compliance file. 2, the town board is hereby determined after careful review and consideration, environmental compliance file 1 of the town board has taken a hard look at all environmental aspects of the project. 2, the environmental review of the project is not subject to segregation. A public hearing on a local law was held for the adoption process. No hearing was required for any aspect of the environmental review of the project except as noted. And 4, the project supports the issuance of an obligation of the town not to have significant effect on the environment pursuant to the information presented in Part 1. Project information and Part 2, project impacts and their magnitude on the environmental compliance file. That therefore preparation of the draft of environmental impact statement is not required. 3, the town board is hereby authorized and direct the supervisor or town planning department to have prepared a notice of no significant environmental impact, negative declaration on the project. 4, a notice of no significant environmental impact, negative declaration, shall be dismissed to those involved agency and the government units as required by the environmental contract and any and all local laws of the town, and the environmental compliance file as said shall be maintained on file at the town hall offices and the town board and made available to the public for inspection at regular business hours in the town. 5, this resolution shall become effective immediately upon adoption by the town board, town of Plattsburgh.
Motion.
So moved.
Mr. Manick, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette, any discussion?
Yeah, we get Ricky to read that again.
As indicated.
Okay, as indicated. Thank you.
We're glad it's you, not us, Rick.
Exactly.
Comment on it.
On the first resolved, said, town board action leaders have received a completed full environmental assessment form, parts 1 and 2, a true copy was attached, a map plan and related materials giving information of the project. So you have that
Yes,
there, and is there a page 7 on yours?
yes.
This was on the back, it wasn't the case with ours, but.
You didn't have it on the back?
No.
No, there was no page 7.
I've made a note to that effect.
Not that I expected anything to be there that I didn't already see, but
It happens.
I have a question to raise. In the second to the last whereas, the town board did authorize and direct copies of the draft CLUPC be forwarded and referred to adjacent municipalities, the Clinton County Planning Board, towns of Beekmantown and Peru, and the town zoning board. Is there any reason why Saranac isn't mentioned there?
Cernak was included. I don't know why it's mentioned in that document. In anticipation of that, I have a copy of the August 23rd resolution number 284, and it was sent to Clinton County Town Planning Board, City of Plattsburgh, Town of Beekmantown, Town of Dannemora, Peru, Cernak, Scholar Falls, and the Town of Plattsburgh zoning board.
Yeah,
I
city's
think
also.
we want to add Saranac and the city of Plattsburgh to that resolution.
you want to add all of them?
That should all be there, sure.
Towns of Beekmantown, Saranac, and Peru, and
So
city of Scholar Falls, and Dannemora. Yep.
You got Saranac in there?
City of Plattsburgh Planning Board, is that what it said? There's only one.
City of Plattsburgh.
Clinton County Planning,
Yeah, please.
it's just City of Plattsburgh. Dannemora was included,
Okay.
so we need to put Dannemora too.
Have we got them all now?
I think so.
There should be 9 total, including the town. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 8. We've missed 1. Beekmantown, Dannemora, Peru is there. Saranac, Scholar Falls, Town of Plattsburgh zoning. Town of Plattsburgh zoning was not noted. Oh, there it
It's in
is.
the
Yep.
resolution.
Did I count wrong? Are there 9?
I think there's a,
Just don't get 8.
6, 7, I still get 8 too. Someone want to check them off as I read them off the,
sure.
okay, Clinton County Planning Board, Town of Plattsburgh Planning Board, City of
That's
Plattsburgh.
it.
That's
That's
what's
the one.
not listed.
Plattsburgh Planning Board.
Was town of Plattsburgh.
Plattsburgh Planning Board.
So amended as indicated.
Original, but not on the one that we finished up.
Any other discussion? As amended, roll call?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Gerard Benedict.
Yes.
Mark Manick.
Yes.
Paul Moy.
Yes.
Bernie Bassett.
Yes. Good catch. I was in anticipation enough to get the resolution, but not enough to check it. I made an assumption they were all there. Oh, that's why there were 5 of us. Resolution 52, adoption of the comprehensive land use plan 2010. And this should be the one that we amended earlier.
You had a copy of the new one?
That's when I distributed before he came out.
Whereas the town has received the $24,000 New York State Community Development Block Grant as Project 928CP4-08, administered by the Office of Community Renewal for 2008 Community Strategic Planning Technical Grant Round. And whereas the town did appoint a 15-person committee known as the Comprehensive Land Use Planning Committee. And whereas the CLUPC met regularly with the town planning consultant Stuart Messner of the Chasing Companies, conducted surveys of the town's citizens and businesses, and after a number of community meetings and outreaches involved to solicit input from the town residents and businesses, did submit a draft final of the Comprehensive Use Plan 2010 update to the town board. And whereas the town board on August 23, 2010, did refer the draft final CLUP 2010 to all adjacent municipalities, Clinton County Planning Board, Town Planning Board, Zoning Board of Appeals, and their respective comments. And whereas the Town Planning Board Chairman, Robert Pearl, did transmit Planning Board Resolution number 10-44 dated September 14, 2010, with the following recommendations to the town board. 1, the town planning board, after review of the seeker materials, did recommend that the town board accept the environmental assessment form part 1, project information as provided by the town's consultant describing the project, the environmental assessment form part 2, project impact and their magnitude, completed by the town planning department. And 2, the town planning board also recommended that the town board consider a determination of no significant environmental impact for the proposed adoption of the final draft CLUP 2010 and authorize the preparation of a negative declaration to distribute in accordance with the New York State Environmental Conservation Law. And whereas 3, the planning board review said draft final CLUP 2010, and they recommended their favorable acceptance to the town board, and further recommended the draft final to the adoption of the final comprehensive plan by the town board. And 4, the town board also did recommend and encourage the town board of the town of Plattsburgh upon authorizing the final comprehensive use plan to proceed in a timely fashion with creating a committee to update the town zoning ordinance. Whereas the town board scheduled a public hearing on September 20th and October 18th at the town hall meeting room as part of the town's board consideration of the environmental impact of 2, the adoption of comprehensive land plan use update 2010 in accordance with the general municipal law section 272-A6 of checklist referred to. And whereas said copies of final draft of the comprehensive use plan 2010 and seeker forms were made available at the town offices and on the town website at townofplattsburgh.com. And whereas the Clinton County Planning Board was provided a copy of the draft final of the comprehensive use plan update 2010 for their review in accordance with the general municipal law, Article 12B, Section 239M, and has responded to the town their action of approval in reference number 85-10 on September 1, 2010. And whereas the town board did hereby renew and recommend revisions, amendments of the draft of the comprehensive use plan 2010. Now therefore it is resolved that upon completion of the review of said recommendations, the town board is hereby adopt the revised amendment final draft of the comprehensive use plan 2010 with supporting maps, plans, and reports as the official land use plan of the town of Plattsburgh, and to be the town's process of careful consideration and forethought for updating and implementation of the town's land use regulations, which will be considered for the future. And it is further resolved that the town board is hereby direct the supervisor to prepare a set of the final comprehensive use plan 2010 into the official land use plan booklet for the town of Plattsburgh, which booklet is to be made available to the public at a purchase fee to be determined based on the cost. And it is further resolved that the town board is hereby direct the town planning department to make arrangements to have the final comprehensive use plan 2010 made accessible on the town website. And whereas resolved that the town board is hereby direct the town supervisor to forward to each member of the comprehensive use plan committee and town planning board a copy of the official land use plan booklet together with a letter of appreciation for the work and effort in preparing this land use planning document. And it is further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the town clerk and a copy given to the budget officer.
We have a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second, Mr. Wood. Any discussion?
Yeah, all the draft finals should be changed to final draft. Everywhere it was in there, and it was at least 10 of them. So that should be changed, which is just a matter of typo.
I noticed some got changed.
Yeah, but they all didn't get changed, so. On the-
Gotcha.
On the resolved on the last page, and we're giving it to the Comprehensive Land Use Committee and the Town Planning Board, and I was wondering if there'd be copies made available for the zoning board, should they need to be able to refer to it, or a decision that they need to make.
I would assume they'd want that,
So,
as well as the town.
and I appreciate the changing in the middle, although I didn't have that copy.
Okay,
So I would like,
You're welcome.
I would like a copy of the final adoption that we do on this one.
the final document?
Yeah, because
The plan?
this one is the old one. I didn't get any copy, apparently.
I passed those out tonight.
Oh, yeah, should get one then.
You'll get one of these other.
You want the, are you talking about the document or the resolution? Tom,
What's that?
are you talking about the document or the resolution?
I'm talking about the resolution, yeah, I'll get a document later, I'm sure.
Didn't he?
I think this is it too, yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
You're gonna have to make little folders instead of passing these out. I can see the flurry in the back room. Yeah, everyone will get a copy of the final, and it's some of the ongoing discussions, which is part of why I've left costs to be determined and so on for the public. I don't have any exact numbers. What I'm hearing is the cost of a colored one will be in the neighborhood of a colored document with colored maps and colored charts and so on, which is pretty invaluable when you're looking at graphs and charts and maps. That's gonna be over $30 a pop. The black and white significantly less than that. We'll have to have some discussion about the numbers of those as well as where that money's gonna come from.
I believe one of the main
Website.
recommendations in here from the planning board was that we get right on top of getting the zoning to go with this comprehensive land use plan.
It's in the resolution as well.
The committee that is, yes, I saw that, and the committee that is formed for that, which I believe that we did say there were going to be a committee, should have those ones that are colored, so they'll be able to make
Oh, absolutely.
references to
There are
it.
some that are invaluable, I totally agree. One of the early drafts that hasn't gotten to you that I've seen of how to shake that out is, everybody on the comprehensive land use planning committee will get a color one. That's a pretty large group of folks, and, should they get one? Maybe, but that's a very large group. Now add the
Well, I'm gonna
zoning
make sure
and add
that
this
many of
and
those are
that.
on the next committee, so
I mean-
that you won't have to worry about getting more.
We're gonna spend $1,000 for color copies here.
Are there a certain number of copies that Jason Group was going to supply us with?
None that I'm aware of.
None? Because I would recommend that, rather than get color copies for everybody, we have one color copy for planning, one color copy for zoning, and the other copy is not necessarily color coded. All we're talking about is the map. That would be the hard part. Anybody who really needs to investigate, do anything, can go to the respective department and look at and compare the colored copy. Again, in the interest of saving the town some money, if we had one colored copy to each of the departments, and with all due respect to the committee that did all the work, we do still need to kind of watch our expenses a little bit. I think
We're gonna have
black
a
and white
copy we're gonna have a copy on the website.
Right, so I
People who
So
want to
anybody
go,
can go
they
to
can
the
go
website.
online and
In
look
color.
at it.
That's a very good point.
Yep. And,
I still feel that as we get started with the next committee to work on the zoning of this, and the zoning, and the different plans to follow up, which we should do immediately, we should have color copies for the ones that are working on that.
Well, I think we can
Come.
meet with the committee and determine with the
Yeah.
committee whether they feel they need a physical copy or whether they're comfortable looking at the website or working with the materials that are in
Fair
the
enough.
town.
And we might be able to, I know that our planning department has been very good about preparing the huge maps that we've got when the committees meet, and to have a big map to reference to, so everybody's looking at the same map, would be beneficial. I think those can be generated right here.
You can take what's on the website and literally project it on the smart board.
Mhm.
And,
I think the thing that's happening right now is what we need to do. I haven't had the conversation with Mr. Von Bargen, and he's thinking the right thing, that everybody that worked on that should have a commemorative copy. Nobody's going to argue with an enormous number of hours for a $30 book, of course. But that's $1,000. Give that group a color copy. Do they want one? Do they need one? I mean, we just have to, he'll give me something, he and I will negotiate, and then I'll bring something to this group in the work session. And for a fee, you can have 5 color copies, Mr. Wood.
good.
Well, this has taken a long time to get to the point where we actually
Yes, it has.
are adopting it, and I want to, again, commend all the members of the committee who worked very hard on it, and many of them, not all, but we're working on it, many of them have been active in our other boards and committees since then, or in bringing suggestions to the town, whether it be recreation or otherwise, and I think it's very valuable, and I hope that as we organize this next committee, we'll be able to do the same type of thing.
In our work session, we talked a little bit about our ethics board. We have some of the best experts on that board that have volunteered and agreed to serve and help guide the town. We have similar individuals that have volunteered to work on our local development corporations board, the comprehensive land use planning. It goes on and on. I mean, it's exciting, and I periodically get calls. There's another name as recently surfaced. It's very well known in the community who would like to be part of our team and work with us. We'll discuss that later, but the other piece that could be hard, and I'm here today I see it. We all wanted to get this master plan done, and it really should have been to this point weeks, if not months earlier, and could have, because the hard work was done. But the other thing that happens, a key person in all this, the real chair of that team was, for example, Phil Von Bargen, who had an enormous amount of work in coordinating and minutes and, contacting people. And he did it with a real touch of class. That was a task, while he also did his other tasks. Well, he also got involved in the sludge plant issues that we've been going on. Well, he also had a, health issue. And as we've said how many times, the projects before planning haven't slowed down during these tough times. And you add on top of that, this very, very, large undertaking. There are many times, I've worked with staffs, others of you have, there are many times where you would bring an undertaking like this, and you'd have someone say, hire a consultant to do the whole thing. You'd have someone say, okay, what's my stipend? All right, give me a part-time helper in my office so I've got time to do this. And that didn't happen. So, one of the letters I'll certainly do for the file will also be one to Mr. Von Bargen for his efforts and time and labor to see this through as well. It really does take a great deal of time. Same thing going on with our rec department and Mel Defiant. These are big projects, and they bring them in, so sometimes we have to be very, very patient to accept the baby's birth when she's done. This is a great one to be done. And certainly anyone who wants to view this, it will be online as indicated. Copies will be available to the public, the less expensive being the black and white. Any other discussion? We will get those first drafts corrected, Tom. I didn't know we didn't do them. Final draft versus draft final. I thought that was some sort of new legalese that Mr. Coffey
Too much legalese if these lawyers try to throw at us. I want plain language where we can understand it.
Do we have a motion? I guess we've been talking today.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the right copy here. We do. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Gerard Renners?
Yes.
Martin Manick?
Yes.
Alden Moy?
Yes.
Bernie Bass?
Yes. Resolution 53, base sewer district inspection.
Whereas the base sewer district is comprised of the original infrastructure installed by the United States Air Force and is known to be leaking and in need of repair. And whereas the base sewer district will be paying for water treatment based upon meters installed at the base storage pumping station. And therefore, it is in the best interest of the district to eliminate to the maximum extent possible infiltration into the system. And whereas in order to determine the location and type of repairs and to be properly prioritized, said repairs is necessary to have the sanitary sewer system clean and closed caption televised for inspection. And whereas the LaBerge Group, the town's engineering consulting, has estimated the cost of cleaning and inspecting the sewer in an amount not to exceed $80,000, as described in the LaBerge Group correspondence dated December 22nd, 2010, to Paul Wright, Assistant Superintendent of Water and Sewer. Therefore, be resolved that the town authorizes the supervisor to have the base sewer district sanitary sewer system cleaned and televised. And therefore, be further resolved that the town authorize the LaBerge Group to prepare required documents for bidding the cleaning and inspection work, and subsequently providing a post-inspection report to the town, and a copy of this resolution be given to the budget officer and director of the water wastewater department.
Have a motion.
So,
Mr. Lemoy, second. Mr. Mannix, any discussion?
This is a huge project that's been long overdue, especially in light of the costs that we're paying for the city for the treatment of sewage. With infiltration and inflows, we really are subject to paying a lot more than we really should, and there's no way to bill anybody, so the town ends up eating it up and having to pass it along. This may result into a large capital improvement project out there, but again, in the interest of being fair to all of our taxpayers, it's something that needs to be done. So I'm excited to see us moving forward with this. It seems like an expensive project to move forward with, but not nearly as expensive as what it would cost us if we had to keep paying for groundwater to be treated by the city. And, with that in mind, we need to be mindful of the fact that we're lucky in that we've got a negotiated contract with the city that continues to go down, I think, as we look forward. Ordinarily, you don't see that happen either, so that's the result of some serious negotiation that took place some time ago, and it's paying off to our benefit. So with that in mind, we owe it to the taxpayers to tighten the system up and get it taken care of, so we're not paying needlessly for something.
Okay, any other discussion?
I almost talked as much as you did.
I like that one.
No, I'll just second his comments.
Taking their amateur professionals.
I'll second his comments.
Okay. Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Gerard Renadette?
Yes.
Mark Manick?
Yes.
Paul Moy?
Yes.
Bernie Bassett?
Yes, only Washington and Albany can be this way, right? Resolution 54, Interworks Computer Services.
I was wondering if Ricky needs a break sometime. He's been going through an awful lot of resolutions.
Should have brought my drink here.
We keep going, I only got a few more.
Only got 2 more to do. Whereas the consulting firm of Interworks Computer Services, 98 Acre Road, Morrisonville, New York, 12962, has prepared and submitted a proposal between the town of Plattsburgh and Interworks Computer Services dated January 1, 2011, for professional service to provide computer hardware and software support for the town of Plattsburgh on a contractual basis for the calendar year 2011. And whereas the town board would like to review internet computer services in light of the current and future needs. Now, therefore, it is resolved that the town board does hereby award professional consulting contract for the services in accordance with the proposal for the period January 1, 2011 through April 1, 2011 to Interworks Computer Services to assist in computer hardware and software support. It is further resolved that the town board is hereby authorized and direct the supervisor to execute on behalf of the town of Plattsburgh said contract at a rate of $50 per hour. And it be further resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized to execute said agreement upon review and approval of the same by the town attorney, and a copy of this resolution be given to the budget officer.
A motion. Mr. Lemoy, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette, any discussion?
The original agreement we had paid a set amount plus the $50 an hour. Are we doing that on a prorated basis? I don't see anywhere in here, again, I may have missed it because I...
No, it's not in there, you're absolutely right.
Or are we just going to hire services out at $50 an hour until we make a decision?
I'm actually looking for that set amount in the agreement to know how to treat that and answer your question, because if it's there, it should be prorated.
There is no,
In the agreement that we have in front of us, there isn't.
Right, it seems to me in the past one, though, we did have a set amount, I don't know if, I think it's somehow somehow it seems to me it was $10,000 or $12,000 a year for...
That was targeted extra for internet.
Right.
That was put on beyond the 50, and when we had someone else come in to do internet, we...
Right.
I don't see it in the agreement, so in my mind, we leave
It
it out.
seems to me it was $10,000 or $12,000, I
Yeah.
don't know the exact amount.
I didn't draw the agreement, I think this is cleaner without it. $50 an hour, you know, without what you get, that's it.
Yeah, I think that was an add-on,
Okay,
which doesn't need to
so
be
price of
added.
council is leave it as it is?
I would say, so yeah, $50 an hour, I feel that's fair. And
I have no
we
problem
can
with that.
terminate this agreement at 30 days' notice, so nobody gets into it, and so.
And it's for roughly 90 days. Any other discussion? The other thing I guess I should note is I have not had a yet with either service provider or the others that we are going to try and get in to meet with us in a work session. We just haven't gotten there. Roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Gerard Renadette?
Yes.
Mark Manick?
yes.
Paul Moy?
Yes.
Bernie Bassett?
Yes. Resolution 55, website development and naming.
Whereas the consulting firm of www.danjerry.com at 553 Beartown Road, West Hazy, New York, 12992, has prepared and submitted a proposal between the town of Plattsburgh and Dan Jerry for professional service to provide website development and management on a contractual basis for 2011. And whereas the town board does hereby accept the proposal from Mr. Jerry, but would like to review internet and computer services in light of the current and future needs. Now therefore be resolved, the town board does hereby award a professional consulting contract for services in accordance with the proposal for the period January 1, 2011 through April 1st, 2011, to Mr. Dan Jerry to assist with the website development and management. And it is further resolved that upon review and approval of the same by the town attorney, the town board is hereby authorized and directs the supervisor to execute on behalf of the town of Plattsburgh, said contract at a rate of $50 per hour. And it is further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the budget office.
A motion,
So moved.
Mr. Renadette, second.
Second.
Mr. Lemoy, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Okay, Gerard Renadette?
Yes.
Mark Manick?
Yes.
Paul Moy?
Yes.
Bernie Bassett?
Yes. That's the last item I have.
Didn't we have one more?
We
No.
have one more item. What do we have?
56?
1156, rejecting sealed bids on the
Yeah.
generator.
I don't have one in my packet.
Here.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Didn't want you to quit early.
Pretty close to it, well, it's not bad. Resolution 56, rejecting all sealed bids received for a generator.
Whereas Resolution 10-251 authorized the town board to retain funds from the JCO White Commons escrow construction deposit to contribute towards a generator to be purchased and owned by the town. And whereas Resolution 10-382 was passed for bids on a generator. And whereas the LaBerge Group and the town water wastewater department have reviewed bid specs and ascertained that the bids from Taylor Rental did not meet specifications needed for the town. Therefore, it is resolved that all sealed bids received and opened on December 27, 2010 are hereby rejected, and that all specifications used to obtain said items were unable to meet bidding specifications without material and substance variances of said specifications, so it would be improper to accept the Taylor Reynolds bid. And therefore, it be resolved that Paul Wright, Water Wastewater Superintendent Assistant, with the assistance of LaBarge Group and the town attorney, re-advertise the same returnable at 151 Baker Road by January 26, 2011, to publicly open and read out loud on the same day. It is further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to have an advertisement published in the Press Republican for sealed bids for the generator returnable on or before January 26, 2011 at 10 a.m. prevailing time at the Town Hall Office Complex, 151 Baker Road, at which time the town clerk will publicly open the sealed bids and read them aloud. And it is further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the budget officer and to the wastewater department.
Motion, Mr. Lemoy, second.
Second.
Mr. Renadette, any discussion?
Two things, Bernie. First, we should also send a letter rejecting the bid to Taylor Rental. And especially because you talked to Jerry and I and wanted to know where that stood. And have we actually reviewed the bid package? Is it going out the same as it was?
It's the same bid package that I was given that we had from before.
I haven't seen it, but it should be, yeah.
That raises questions because council had some questions as to the way it was written, as to whether or not it was.
I talked to, I had a long conversation with Ron on that, and RJ, and I told him that it had to be in such a way that it would be open to various bidders, and he said it was.
Okay.
I would suggest that, or I talked to Bernie and I talked about that today, and I believe Mr. Wright would probably do well to contact various people who could make the bid, to make sure we get 3 or 4 bids on
That
it.
conversation is taking place,
Oh,
encouraging them to
that's
make
done.
those telephone calls.
I just have one other comment, and that is that in light of the last time, and I don't think it had anything to do with the weather, the mail was not available at 10 a.m., that possibly we consider moving the time of the opening to 3 PM to give time for mail to come in that day. I think we waited that day until 4 o'clock,
Yep.
but again, we don't want to have them
That's very
at closing, but probably an hour before.
Yeah, because with the new mail girl, she doesn't get here anytime between 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
So we'll change that to 3 PM?
I think that's, again, that extends it out 4 hours, or 5 hours past what we usually open it at, and it gives that much more time for the mail to arrive.
The other thing, and I know we've talked about it before, but I'm looking at the calendar now. Tomorrow is the 19th. That leaves 3 work days this week and 2 next week, and that's it. Are we pushing it with the 26th? I really think we might be.
It takes 3 days to get in the press.
That's not much notice for someone to get it and
So that's-
respond.
It's either gonna be in Saturday's paper if we get it into the press, so that leaves Saturday to Thursday.
I
I
don't
would
think,
make it the 31st.
Nobody's gonna be able to comply with the 26th.
no.
You could make it the 31st,
Make it 31st.
and open them at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the 31st.
26 was a Wednesday. If you make it, well, anytime in February, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, we're not meeting again to authorize that bid and actually buy it until February 7th. That's the first time we're gonna meet to buy it. So anytime prior to February 7th is when we ought to make it. Because they can't buy it until we accept the bid and award it, so.
So you want to make it?
Floor is open. I think we all agree the 26th is too soon.
Yeah,
If you go with Wednesday the 2nd,
that's exactly
then
what I
they've
was
got
just
some
gonna say.
time
They can review it and make a recommendation
to
by
be able to
Monday.
call somebody back and get clarification.
Yep,
and
yep,
that
good idea.
kind of stuff.
So we're going to amend the resolution that bids would be due February the 2nd at 3 PM. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Roy Renner?
Yes.
Martin Penick?
Yes.
Paul Moyen?
Yes.
Bernie Bassett?
Yes, thank you, Jim. I don't know why. Do you want another copy of that? Are you okay? Now, we're there
This is going to
again.
be a tough resolution, this last one. I'll move it. Adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn by Mr. Wood. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Lemoy, any discussion? Roll call.
Thomas Wood?
Yes.
Roy Renner?
Yes.
Martin Penick?
Yes.
Paul Moyen?
Yes.
Bernie Bassett?
Yes, we'll stand adjourned at 8:05. I advise everyone to drive carefully. The roads are supposed to be deteriorating this evening.
You won't be required to attend every meeting. You know, just, we'll call you when we need you.
Just let me know, I'll be here.
Okay.
Congratulations.
On the vouchers.
Thank you very much.
You know, it's amazing.
Any closing